Hi everyone, today I am going to give you my first impressions on the brand new first ever Deity DIFB system, which I have right here in this box. So we're going to take a look at this, open it up, and go through the system and have a little fun with it. So go ahead and grab a cup of coffee or your preferred beverage and let's go ahead and get right to it.
The key to a great sounding lav is 10% placement and 90% process.
Typically, I'll do a script breakdown on my iPad. Ingenuity and flexibility really are the keys here because we have the same goal, capturing the performance.
It is this process here that inspired us to create Wire Like the Pros, a masterclass for students and professionals who have the desire to excel and go beyond just the wiring technique and tools.
Let's talk about working with the actors.
So I invite you to come over now and enroll into Wire Like the Pros at mwsound.net.
So first of all, thank you Deity Microphones for sending me this system for review, and I'm looking forward to checking it out, putting it through its paces. And I saved this box opening for you guys because I wanted to share with you my initial thoughts so we could go ahead and go through it. So let's go ahead and get right to it. First things first, let's take this thing out of the box and open it up. You know, an IFB system, for those of you who have been mixing for a while, know, or maybe you're newer, that it's kind of like the secret sauce for a sound mixer, especially when it comes to the communication of crew. Things move so fast on a film set. So an IFB system, technically known as a interruptible foldback, is a way for our crew members or maybe other specialty type situations to monitor whatever we choose to send them from the mixer, such as the mix and also the comms channel, so everyone can hear each other. So it really allows for the most excellent performances when it comes to efficiency when working on any set for that matter. So really that obviously is one of the things that's utmost importance in any workflow, especially when you start working with different crew members and so forth. So today we're going to be opening this up and we'll talk a little bit through it. So first and foremost, from what I know and have learned so far, that the Deity IFB system comes in an international model and then also an American model. So this is the USA model, since I'm obviously in the USA, which is the Hush system, which is its own ecosystem. And the only difference that I'm aware of between the American and international system is that the international version is compatible with any Theos transmitter, where the US version has to work with this particular transmitter inside of this ecosystem. And then other than that, international allows you to use a Bluetooth headset, where the US model does not. And I think those are the only two real differences, but it still utilizes the global one-band technology, which is super important, especially here in the US, where, you know, the frequency spectrum is just being crushed just more and more, where we really need to kind of keep the things like IFBs or comms or stuff typically like out of the way of maybe our primary kind of mission critical frequencies with talents. So right off the bat, looking at the specs, the fact that this thing can coordinate, I believe it's 550 up to the STL band 960 for the US version. So that's going to include the guard band, which is the 655 to 665. Also the, actually no, that's 614 to 616. The duplex gap, which is going to be the 655 to 665. And then of course you also have inside of here the STL bands as well. And it might include the ISM band. I'm not sure. I haven't looked that deep yet. But let's go ahead and open this thing and look up to it. But yeah, I mean, there are some things that are pretty critical when using IFBs. Now, this is the pack that you can purchase. I was kind of poking around and it looks like it's available right now, which is cool. I think it's around somewhere in the 900 range US, which is an incredible value for 3 transmitters and then 1 receiver. And then here you can see pretty clearly labeled make sure I can get this thing to focus. I can use the other camera too if it's easier. That this is the transmitter, the D as in digital IFB transmitter, and then below here are the 3 receivers. And right off the bat, I'm noticing that it has a metal casing, so that's really nice because, you know, I've got a couple different variations of professional IFBs, and these very much, they're all metal casing, and they need to be able to take the abuses on set. And so that's a really nice thing to see. And here, also in the pack, let's see if there's anything else kind of hiding in here. I'm going to take all these out and see. So, you know, ideally you would have a transmitter in a bag or on the cart, and then you would have receivers with your crew. Also, other ways that IFBs are used, if you're maybe not aware, is oftentimes these can double as like hops to video assist. They can also double as camera hops. They can do different functions. You could sheet a headphone level out. However, I'm not sure yet. Put it in the comments below if you know. It might also do a line level out, which is going to be important for, you know, sending camera hop feeds and so forth. So IFBs are just a really, really powerful tool. So right off the bat, the transmitter, something important here that I'm noticing is that it has an SMA connector. And let's see if we can get that to focus there. I'll put my hand up to cheat it. And that's going to be really, really important for getting your antenna up in the air. First and foremost, you know, with an IFB system, sure, you can run it out of the bag if you're like bagging and working, but if you're running this off of a cart, let's say, or you have a bag on top of a cart, getting this thing up in the air with a dipole antenna, for instance, you know, is going to essentially double the power. You know, so 3 dB is double the power. An isotropic antenna is close about 2.5 dB of gain. So that just kind of, first and foremost, you have those 2 options with this IFB. Secondly, let's go ahead and put some batteries in here. I am kind of liking and appreciating right off the bat that it uses AA batteries. I've got other equipment that uses AA batteries. I'm not a big fan of specialty batteries where I have to start buying other chargers or things like that. So the fact that it works in my existing ecosystem is going to be a huge plus. Go ahead and just pop some batteries in here. As you can see, it's got controls. It's got a nice display on it. Let's go ahead and put these 2 nickel metal hydride batteries. Is typically what I use for IFBs or comms. Just because they're quickly changeable, so I don't want to like rip through lithium one-time battery. So it's, and also the battery lives that I was looking at on their website look really, really good. There's no reason why the nickel metal hydride shouldn't easily last you more than half a day. I believe it was like 9 hours for like 1800 milliamps. These are 26 or 2400 milliamp nickel metal hydrides. So let's go ahead and just power these on. I can see the little power button here. There we go. The cool little Deity label just kind of popping up. That's nice. And let's go ahead and put batteries in these other ones. So yeah, IFBs, like I mentioned earlier in the stream, they are like problem solvers. You know, the current IFBs I use, I can use them as camera hops. I can use them for crew. I can use them as video assist feeds. I can put them on speakers. There's a million things you can do with this kind of thing, and it really is just kind of creates a powerhouse, especially when you're working with crew. And you could also send these to a director or even a talent for queuing if you needed to. There's many uses for this type of scenario. And I'm going to go ahead and just power these up just to kind of get them all showing a screen. There we go. There we go. And then, all right, that one powers up and that one powers up. So yeah, right off the bat, all 3 of the receivers have a, we'll see what's the best way that you guys can see it here. Sometimes when I put my hand up here, it will help with focus. There we go. You can see that there's a headphone icon, and then you can see that it's a level 50. And the knob feels nice, which is good. It's got clicks, which is good. So you can kind of just step it. And it looks like it's stepping 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And then it's going all the way up to max. So, and then I believe when you press the button, it should go to like a frequency setting. I haven't gone through the menus of these. I just kind of read a little bit. I just want to kind of give you guys first impression. The weight feels really, really nice, just right off the bat. And the door feels good. I was reading online, they said they did a drop test up to 1 meter on these. But really, you know, let's go into some of the menu functions and so forth here as well. So we'll go below here. And first things first, I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to try it anyway. I've got the Sidus audio app here up on my Mac, right? And I'm going to see if I can connect with these devices via here. So I see all 4, which is great. I see the DIFB receivers. It says DIFB US and transmitter. I'm just going to set up all 4 and see what happens here. And this is really cool because this is like happening, like I don't know how to use these and it seems to be going pretty well, you know, without, I mean, I don't bring any gear on set unless I like really spend like time with it where I'm not doing a live stream about it. But yeah, so right off the bat here I can see the DIFB US. I'm going to open up one of the receivers here. Please scan transmitter or manually add a frequency point. Okay, cool. It doesn't have a frequency point right now. Let's go ahead and put an antenna on this first of all. We don't want to rename or delete it. So where is the box? Oh, there's another box. See, I failed you guys already. You're like, there's more to this system than just this, Michael. Pull it together on the stream, would you? So let's see here. And then, oh, here we go. So inside of this box, we have some Deity swag, which is cool. Stickers and such, you know, I love stickers. Gel packs. Okay, oh, clips. That's important. You know, and then let's see how these things feel. Like, because sometimes these are actually pretty sturdy. They're not like, you know how some of them get like way too like thin. These actually feel pretty good in the hand. So that's good. They're not going to immediately like fall off the belt. A good sturdy clip is kind of an important thing. You know, when you're moving around quick on set, you don't want that thing just kind of falling off. So let's get all those clips out. And then we've got tips for the antennas I see here. Just trying to get rid of this box here. Alrighty. Oh, well, yeah, the 4th clip. Because obviously if you're putting the transmitter on a bag or wearing it or for some reason, you could do it that or securing it in another way. Okay. Here's the antennas. Let's go ahead and get all those out. And cool, cableage. You know, one thing I've noticed about them is they always include cables. Like, how cool is that, right? Like, I mean, how many times have you like bought expensive gear and then have to go spend a lot of money on expensive cables? So, all right, so let's go ahead and look at this here. So we have, the reason why I'm getting these antennas out is, yes, you guessed it, because there's no sense in scanning without antennas on the receiver. So the transmitter doesn't make any sense to scan because it's a transmitter. But the receivers, the ones that are hearing the RF in the environment, are going to be the ones we're going to scan. And it looks like these cables you cut to length, like the specific ones that you want to use, because this is like, check this out. This is a 1/4 wavelength whip antenna, and this is easily in the, I mean, that by, I'm eyeing like 450 megahertz. But for this stream, we're going to cheat it. But what you typically do is you use a measuring tool to make sure that the 1/4 wavelength of the antennas matches for the most efficient transmission and reception of the antennas. But for just here in the studio, we're just going to clean up our mess and use what we have. Okay, these are some cool little tips. We'll just set those aside. You can't see, these are colored tips, you know, that you put on the ends of the antennas. Everyone's seen those before, I'm sure. And then look, a cable. Let's see what kind of cable came with it. Okay, so there is a locking 3.5 millimeter cable, which I'm assuming this particular one is designed to be used with the transmitter to send into the transmitter. So I'll go ahead and just put this here so we can see that connect. It feels like a good connection. I'm not noticing like anything loose or weird about this. So let's see here, and it's tightening down okay. And let's see how that goes. Yep, everything's secure, no problems there. And then let's see here. Let's go back to the overhead camera and clean up our sound station here. It's getting a bit messy. Okay, good. All right, first things first. It's asking us to do a scan. So when I come in here and I click on one of these devices, I'm going to, it says, please scan transmitter or manually add a frequency point. Well, that's interesting. I'm just going to say scan. Let me put some antennas on these. And what I'm looking at here, guys, is the app. So sorry to leave you behind on that one. So we're going to go apps. So when I go into the Sidus app, which is wicked cool, I use it with the Locket boxes I use from Deity, that I click on one of the receivers to like make a change on these 3 dots. No, I'm not going to do that. Somewhere on here. And then it says, hey, please scan the transmitter or manually add a frequency point. So like to me, it's asking for a scan. Typically, receivers, will be doing the scan. If that makes sense of everything what I'm saying. So, but let me just put the antennas on here and see what the app does, because I don't even know which one this is yet. So I'm just going to add all the antennas. I do like that these IFBs have 2 antennas. Once again, you would cut these down, guys. Once you figure out which frequencies you want to use and so forth, you just kind of cut it down. You could choose the middle of the frequency. Let's say you're like, well, I don't know where I'm going to be, and I only have these antennas. You know, you could cheat it a little bit. Just keep in mind you're going to have gains or losses depending upon the proper lengths of those antennas. And you can always get more antennas, I'm sure. So let's go ahead and add all of these to each one. And these are the SMA antennas, which feel pretty good, by the way. They're not, you ever seen those antennas that are like really like droopy? Now these are nice and stiff and good quality. And, you know, and the quality of it feels good. It doesn't feel like cheap at all, which is good. So let's see here. Let's add the transmit antenna. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to go back to the app here, and I'll show you guys what I'm doing. And I'm going to try to just scan and see what happens. And it looks like here, the one that is scanning is a receiver. So let me show you that so you can see. So it's not the transmitter scanning, obviously. It's the receiver, just like we anticipated. And you can see the scan physically happening here between 5, and you got to have good vision, which I don't for this, but I can read it. It was 550 to 606 is where it's scanning right now, I believe. But don't take my word for it. My vision is kind of bad. So obviously you're going to choose like the block you're going to be in. Like, are you in guard band? Are you in duplex gap? But you can see here, and I'm using my hand for focus, that the unit is physically scanning, so we can assign on the receiver a good frequency to put our whole IFB system. Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe for more updates on the Deity DIFB system, and go to mwsound.net. That's where I'm going to post a review on this system after I get a chance to use it out in the real world. And we'll look forward to seeing everyone real soon for this live stream. All right, take care.